What a tough watch. Incredibly tough. One of the toughest so far this season, but worth it in the end. I'm absolutely ecstatic. I might not be showing it right now, trust me. I feel like I need a pacemaker fitted for the rest of the season. If it's going to be like this, I was saying to Kieran Auld earlier on, I think this could be, I was saying in the group chat, I feel like this could be a throwback to the days of old, the kind of seasons like 07, 08, you know, those title races where you're hanging on for dear life, you're waiting for the final whistle to go, when you're so close to the opposition, you're so close to the rivals, and you desperately want to see the other result as well, but you can't take your eyes off your own game. It's a right good throwback. I'm going to need a sort of pacemaker or a defibrillator set up somewhere in the house, because watching that was tough. But in the end, Celtic hang on to win. Hearts 1, Celtic 2. Another 3 points on the board. We keep that gap where it is for now. And we head into what is one more game before the derby in an incredibly positive place. Despite how tough that might have got towards the end of the game there, I can sit down and I can say I'm just incredibly happy we've got the 3 points. I'm relatively pleased with how we played tonight as well. And, you know, when we see half of our team, no, well, not half of our team, we see a lot of our team out, Maida, Rogic, Kyogo, McGregor, the captain. When you see like guys like this out, and you've got to play without them, and you've got guys coming in to play their first game, and you're relying on big games from people who have been out for a lot of the season, and you're managing to grind out those sort of results at a place where we struggled earlier on in the season. Number one, you're seeing the development of a Celtic side, you're seeing the growing confidence in a Celtic side, but ultimately you're confident of where we're going. I'm really confident where we're going. I'm confident in the group of players we've got right now, because that's a big ask. A really big ask for those guys to go out there tonight and do what they've done under immense pressure, you know, especially in that second half, to keep the head and to go and see out the win in the circumstances that they had to. I'm just incredibly buzzing. It's another 3 points, and you can't put a bad word against that. A big thank you to Liam Boyce amongst it all. Boyce spelt with a BH at the start. A penalty miss that could have had a, you know, let's be honest, a real big influence on the game. Who knows, if that went in the back of the net, we may have dropped points. Hearts could have went and won the game. Who knows, we could have went up and scored another one. We needed a sort of kick up the arse at that point in the game, and that sort of provided it. So God knows how it would have went if the goal went in the back of the net, but he did miss the penalty. That might be the big talking point, the biggest talking point from tonight's game, but we've got so much to cover. We've got so much to talk about, from individual performances to debut appearances to, you know, ultimately the circumstances, or the bigger picture of the final result. Let's try and get it all done well, keep my heart in my chest. Going into this game, we knew it was going to be tough. Tynecastle, we lost that in the opening game of the season. We've played Hearts twice since then. We have came out the better side. I was going into this game feeling confident. If you watched my preview, I was saying that I think we can beat Hearts. We've got a team that's good enough to beat Hearts, and I predicted us to win, I think, 3-1 or something. I was really confident we could beat them again. We didn't show anything in the last couple of games against them that really worried me. A couple of really good first half performances against them in the past couple of meetings. I was feeling like we could do that again, and that exact same thing happened tonight. Another fantastic first half performance against Hearts, but we really have not learned our lesson about those second half dips, and I feel like a lot of players were guilty of that tonight. We'll come on to that, but it was a real sort of reflection of the game of the weekend. I thought we were looking in the mirror almost at the same sort of game, the same sort of performance. You know, Alloa first half, we were fantastic. We scored a couple of great goals. We went into half time 2-0 up, and we were really, you know, signs of running away with the game were shown. And in the second half, we kind of slowed it down. We took our foot off the gas. We allowed Alloa to get back into the game with a goal. And that exact same thing happened tonight. And that was really, really frustrating. You know, Hearts came into the second half and they were the much better side. But we'll talk about it in the order that we normally do. However, you know, I do want to see this change, and it has to change. We need to try and pick ourselves up in that second half. And I don't know if it's down to fatigue. I don't know if it's down to tiredness and tired legs, or if it's just an attitude issue or whatever. But there has been a little bit of an issue over the course of the season from time to time where we have dipped a little bit in the second half. I want to see that same sort of intensity, that same control in the game. Because it got to the point in the second half where we were struggling to keep the ball for more than a few seconds. That last 10 minutes especially, which was the nervy and the most nervous part in the game, you know, we're struggling to keep a hold of the ball. It was really, really I mean, hats off to Hearts. It was good pressing from them. They were putting the pressure on Celtic. But, it was really sort of kind of worrying stuff from Celtic at times. But we were just putting it away to Hearts, and there was no real sort of outlook for us to do anything. There was nothing there. I don't know what it is, but it's something that I'm sure the manager will pick up on, the players will be picking up on. And it's something that hopefully is kind of fixed in time for the game at the weekend, and then obviously the game after that. But enough of the negativity. We won the game, so let's talk about the positives in the game, and let's talk about how good Celtic were in that first half, because we were absolutely outstanding in the first half, to the point where I thought we could have ran away with it with a 3 or a 4-0 in the second. But we started the game really, really well. The first 5 or so minutes, I actually thought Hearts were good. I thought they were probably the better side in the opening 5 minutes of the game, and it was a little bit kind of worrying. I was thinking, right, Hearts are bang up for this, they're going to go for it tonight. They had a couple of early chances. Barry Mackay with that shot from range that went over the bar. I thought they looked quite good. They looked a little bit interesting what they were doing, but Celtic done really well to weather that initial storm in the first 5 minutes, and then come out the gates after that and blow them out of the water. Hearts never had a look in after it. We had complete and utter control of the game. The ball was ours for the keeping, and we were toying around with them. That middle three were absolutely fantastic. Matt O'Reilly, coming in on his debut performance, looked like he'd been in the team all season. He looked like he just gelled right in. There was no sort of bedding in period. And he was a natural in the role that he was given this evening, I thought. Him beside Hatate worked really, really well. They looked reassured. They looked confident in what they were doing. And it was the midfield three that kind of stood out the most for me in that first half. I thought a lot was happening through them. And Beaton in behind him done a great job as well in the first half. I think in the second half he slipped in his standards a little bit, but in the first half in particular, those three were the real standouts for me, and that's where I thought we controlled the game the most. We were getting the ball out wide from spraying passes in the middle of the park, and Hearts couldn't handle it. They couldn't, and I mean, let's just talk about the opening goal. I mean, that is a thing of sheer beauty from Ryo Hatate. That is... I mean, I don't know if he's met up with Nakamura back over in the J-League and he's been giving him a wee warm-up on the long shots or such, but that is absolutely sensational. What a strike from Ryo Hatate. And his first half performance, once again, I thought second half he wasn't as good. I thought he slipped a little bit. His first half performance was shades of last week. It picked up where he left off. And he was just spraying the ball about. He was confident in what he was doing, and that goal was a real epitome of his confidence. Taking it from range, I've been critical of that at times over the season, where I don't think Celtic have been taking chances when they've been offered them from outside the area. But he had no hesitation, he had no doubt. Smacks at top bins, and you're up 1-0 with an absolutely fantastic goal, a goal of the season contender. It's funny though watching Craig Gordon attempt to save it, because it's pretty poor goalkeeping, I would say. I think it's a really poor effort from Craig Gordon. I know that it's a fantastic strike, and with the pace that's behind that, I would have probably took him into the goal with the ball, but it's the reason Celtic let him go, and it's the reason why he continues to prove this group of people that say we should never let Gordon go wrong. Because that's the kind of thing that happened with Gordon. In big moments, in big games, his arms would disappear. He can make as many great saves as you like, and I was always a massive fan of Craig Gordon, but there's one thing that was undeniable, and that was sometimes that his arms just fell off when you needed them the most, and that was what happened there tonight. But it's to take nothing away from Hatate. It's absolutely marvellous from him. Fantastic strike, puts us in a commanding position, and yeah, a brilliant performance from him in that first half. Jota was absolutely tremendous in that first half, and we'll come on to that in the three things we've learned. I think that's one of the things I want to talk about. Yeah, really good from him. The second goal, once again, fantastic from Celtic. Some really good work to get the ball in, and don't underestimate the finish from Giakoumakis. That is top level stuff. That is fantastic. A great finish. Now, I know Giakoumakis has had his doubters. A lot of people have struggled to get behind him. I still find it a bit bizarre considering he's barely had any football. The penalty miss against Livingston didn't do him a lot of favours, let's be honest. That's what kind of turned a lot of people into this sort of mindset around him. But he takes that brilliantly. I'm not saying that he's the best thing from sliced bread, or he's the best striker in the country, or he's suddenly just this amazing player. But over the last couple of games, I've been impressed what I've seen from him. I think he's stepped up in moments, and that tonight, that for his goal, is something that doesn't just happen out of an accident or a mistake or just by luck. That's quality. That's the quality finish from a player who is now gaining a little bit of confidence, and hopefully we're going to see a lot more of in the absence of Kyogo Furuhashi, in the absence of Dyson Maeda. Now, the fact that we can potentially land ourselves in the conversation of having three top strikers, three strikers who are confident, three strikers who are on form. I mean, when is the last time Celtic said that? You know, like, we had that brief period in 2016, maybe 2017, where we had the options of Griffiths, Edouard and Dembele. We had, obviously, years ago, Harson, Larsson and Sutton. Is that as far back as you need to go to say we had three roaring strikers? You know, players have came and gone. We've had McDonald at the same time as very good. A Hesselink, Samaras who could play for. But you know, the fact that we could hopefully see three really, really top firing strikers could be a really interesting thought. I'm liking the thought of that, but you know, we'll see what happens with time. I'm not going to sit here and put that pressure on that. You know, we can only hope and pray that something like that happens. But it's a top finish. It's brilliant from him in first half. We were just absolutely incredible. It's just a shame things did dip a little in that second half. For as much as I think performances did dip a little in that second half, you've got to give credit to the team for hanging on the way they did. The perseverance of the side is something that you can't just put to the side because we weren't creating the same chances, because we weren't having the ball as much. Hearts brought the game to us in the second half. Fair play. That goal gave them a big bit of confidence to push on and probably become the more dominant side of the game. It didn't help that Celtic were tiring. The legs looked tired as the game went on. I think that was pretty evident. But you've got to admire the perseverance of the Celtic side to hang on, and it's something that we don't see often from Celtic. And one thing I think you could take from that, and this is the thing I'm going to bring in as the first thing we've learned, is there is another side to this Celtic team. There is a side. I was listening to, who was it I was listening to today? I can't remember. It was on Sky Sports. That's who it was. It was Stephen Presley. Stephen Presley was on Sky Sports today being interviewed about the game tonight, and he was asked about Celtic, and he said, attacking, they're brilliant, I'm liking what I'm seeing, but I'm not sold on them defensively. And I sat there listening to that, and I was thinking, where is this myth coming from that we can't defend? We have the best defensive record in the league. We're League Cup winners so far this season. We have the most clean sheets in the league with Joe Hart as well. Where is this myth coming from that we're not as good defensively as, say, Rangers? When statistically, we've shown that we are better. It really does annoy me. So if people aren't sold on how we are defensively, yes, we gave Hearts chances tonight, but how many of them went in the back of the net? How many of them did we manage to keep out? And how many amazing bits of defensive work did we see from not only defenders, but attackers tonight? I thought there were some really solid bits of defending. So those sort of comments, which I think are... I honestly believe people like Stephen Presley have watched one or two games this season. They've seen a highlight package of goals we may have conceded and are convinced that Ange Postecoglou's team just can't defend, which is completely untrue. We have a solid defence, I think. Juranovic, I think, is a brilliant defender. Carter Vickers and Starfelt, I absolutely adore. Taylor can maybe come up another day. But I don't know. I don't get where it comes from. I think there was a real perseverance in that second half. We held on really well when we had to. Yes, it was a shame that we did dip a little bit and we didn't create the same amount of chances. I think Jota coming off did have a certain effect in that too. But I don't know. There's positives to take as much as the dip was there. Yes, there is a big bit of luck that comes alongside it. Look, we can see the goal that's offside, but I'm not going to sit and cry about that. The goal is offside, absolutely, but you know, it swings and roundabouts. I'm not going to greet like some fans do. The referee got a decision wrong. It happens in football. It's marginally offside. I'm just going to sit here and take it on the chin. Maybe I would be saying different if we didn't win the game, but look, I'm not the Kyogo Furuhashi debate that came around when we beat them at Parkhead with that offside goal was absolutely out of the proportion. It was blown way out of the water. You know, it went too far. I'm not going to sit here and do that with Hearts' goal. It went in the back of the net. They scored a goal. We should have done better. We should have been more alert at the time. But no, listen, we got off a little bit with the penalty miss. Thank you, Liam Boyce, once more. But we've seen it out. We held out in that second half, and ultimately 3 points and up the road is all we need. I've spoke for quite a bit. It's going to take a while to edit, actually. So things 2 and 3 that we learned alongside that other side of Celtic. Number 2, I don't think James Forrest has got it anymore. I don't. I'm going to be brutally honest. I've been biting my tongue to say it all season. I've not been impressed with any of Forrest's appearances really this season. There's been a couple of glimpses here and there. I wasn't sold on what I've seen tonight. He's been incredibly unlucky with injuries. But I don't know. We need a big performance soon. I think he's been incredibly unlucky with injuries, but tonight he had to do so much more for me. He had so many decent chances. The one where the ball comes right across the face of the goal. For me, a player with confidence, a player in form, and a player who is doing well, hits that first time, hoping that it goes in the net. He takes a touch and he ends up going to walk with it, and we've lost an opportunity by the time he's done. The amount of times he cut inside and done nothing, I wasn't sold on what I've seen tonight. I think he's really low in confidence, I really do, and I want to see it back in him. He's a Celtic legend. I would like to see him back to his best, but right now I'm not convinced of what I see from Jamesy Forrest. Thing 3, do you know what, I'm just going to open the floor to thing 3. I think Greg Taylor isn't good enough. I'm finally just going to come out and say it. I've been dancing around it, and I think most of us are in agreement. He does some certain things well, and when he does well, I give him the credit where it's deserved, but I don't know, I would like us to sign a left back. Starfelt, I thought, was absolutely tremendous tonight. I think that for their goal, it could be a little bit to blame. If it's him, I'm not sure, but I thought it was tremendous aside from the goal that was conceded. I thought it was really, really solid. A lot of big moments from him, big tackles, big interceptions. I love that from Starfelt. I don't know what else to throw in, apart from that's Celtic this season. We need to churn out those results, and we're going to do it. It's going to be tough to watch, but it's going to be so worth it, and we're building up what we needed to build up towards the derby. We're getting the results, and that's what matters. Like and subscribe, that'll do. I'm fed up talking. I'll see you all next time.